It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
All right, hello everybody. Patrick Johnson here with you. It's Patrick Johnson Show as we're up and running on a Tuesday. Is it Tuesday, Bill?
Tuesday. Little Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday, yeah. It'll be Salad Tuesday for me. So I don't know how exciting that is.
Taco salad?
No, that's a good idea. There's a killer taco salad that I've made before, which has all the elements of the taco sans the shell. You know, but I don't like Mexican food if you make it at a restaurant. I don't do well with the Mexican food in the restaurant. I do very well with the Mexican food at home. Like if you're going to make it at home, I'm there for that.
Gotcha.
And whether it be a kid or you make it from scratch, I'm there for that. What I don't like is going to a restaurant because it all looks like the same slop has been slopped on a plate. And then everybody else gets better food. So I have a little FOMO with their meal. And I end up eating what looks like somebody vomited it.
And that is the most Patrick-ism I've heard, but we'll go with it.
Yeah.
It just sounds like you're ordering the wrong thing.
I totally am ordering the wrong thing. There's no two ways about it. I'm ordering the wrong thing. And I don't know what to order there. Because I'll order something, I'll read the menu, and I can comprehend what I'm reading, and I'm thinking, boy, this sounds good. And they bring it out, and it looks like a science project gone awry is what it looks like. So I don't do well with it. I do not do well with it. Well, I was going to talk about the Panthers, and we are going to talk about the Panthers here in a little bit. And Pilk, I know, has probably got an update on the Panthers. I don't think I sent you the update from this morning, did I? Because I had a little.
I didn't see.
I had a little. I had a little stuff in there from the Frank Reich.
Oh,
So-
that's what I'm using. I do have a Frank Reich cut.
You have a sound bite?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you don't need my help on this. You got it covered. Philip the Ref Pilkington, ladies and gentlemen.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. No. Thank you, buddy. But so. And then, obviously, I thought Mike Houston was fantastic yesterday on the show. And there was a great crowd at Tiebreakers. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was tremendous. But then, Pilk, I get people send me messages all the time. There's the Always Anonymous text line, which is usually bumping during the show. It's also bumping during football games, or at least mine is. I get emails. I get messages. People now are sliding into my DMs.
Oh, no.
They're sliding into my DMs. And so somebody, a well-intentioned guy and a pretty level-headed guy, sent me, and apparently he must have sent it during the course of the show, but I'm so zoned in on the show, believe it or not, that I didn't have anything where I could look at what was the messages like that. My setup is not conducive to be looking at messages necessarily. And because you're kind of planning the next segment or you're going to what the next thing is, and Steven and I are talking, or Coach, we're just small talking with Coach sometimes in the break or with fans. So it's not an environment where I'm just on my phone checking messages. So somebody sent me from the desk or from the helm or whatever it is that John Gilbert put out. And originally, well, let's go back to Saturday or Sunday when I read the tweet. There was the tweet from the guys on the podcast, and I like the guys. I don't know the guys, but I they seem like they're well-intentioned. And they reported this thing that there was this terse conversation between John Gilbert and Mike Houston after the game. Now, Pilk, I've been covering sports since before you were born, right?
Correct.
And you're old. So
I
I'm
am.
older. And, I've covered a lot of sports over the years. And an athletic director talking to a coach after the game, especially in a big sport like football or basketball, is not out of the ordinary, right?
I would agree. And considering your father was an athletic director, I would say you would know better than me.
And a coach.
Yeah.
But I mean, even when he was a college athletic director at a smaller college, he still would talk to his coaches after games if it were applicable or, win or lose, because that's part of the job.
Yeah, of course.
And it's not you're admonishing them, because, look, these coaches are so emotionally spent and so emotionally wound up during the course of and the aftermath of a game, and especially a loss, that, they're usually words of encouragement or, we're going to get this kind of an we're stay the course. We're going to get this. So again, I don't think that the guy wants to do anything that is, harmful, or that he was. I think it was an honest mistake. I could be totally wrong about this, but my read is he saw a interaction between an athletic director and a coach after an emotional loss, perhaps for the first time ever. Mike Houston probably wasn't saying a whole lot. John Gilbert was probably doing a lot of the talking, and John's a pretty serious guy in a time that was probably pretty serious. And all of a sudden, these nuts on social media run with it as if there's something afoot. Okay. Well, it's obviously not. I talked to people that were there. I actually talked to one of the participants in it about it. Nothing, just what I said it was. Coach and an AD talking after a game. There was not. So, again, the guy saw it. He felt like he needed to report on it. I'm not here to bash anybody. I'm not here to get on in a podcast war, because one of the other podcasts was quick to report that night that there was nothing. I'm not here for that. But so that's the backdrop of this thing, right, Pilk? That's sort of the backdrop.
For sure.
So if you're not paying attention, and a lot of people aren't, they're just typing stuff and sending it out, they are looking at that and say, "Ooh, there's something going to happen here." And then John Gilbert puts out this from the Helm letter. And so I looked at it, but I glanced at it because I actually saw it at the end of the show, and I was ready to get out of there and get on with my evening. And I'm driving home, and all of a sudden I'm starting to get calls from people or texts from people. And they're making, I don't want to say a big deal, but they're like, "Have you read this yet?" And I was like, "No, I've glanced at it. I've seen what he wrote, at least kind of initially, but I didn't." So it read interesting to me when I read it. And I've sent it to some people that had not seen it. I said, "What do you make of this?" So they've given me their opinion on this. I don't think it's much ado about nothing, but I guess the guy, Patrick Mason, who writes for the Reflector, and I don't know Patrick, and I understand he asks tough questions, and he's a pretty good journalist. Pilk, I wanted to talk about how rotten Bryce Young was today. I didn't want to talk about any of this today.
Nature of the business. You got to take the good with the bad.
The nature, and trust me, there's plenty of bad with the Panthers. So this is the response from Mike Houston when asked by Patrick Mason of the Daily Reflector about John Gilbert's letter. This is the thing in its entirety. This is nothing that's been edited and placed out of context. This is the entire answer to that question. Hit it.
None of us are pleased with the start of the season. I mentioned that in my opening statement. And certainly John and I are on the same page with what we expect. And I don't think the expectations are the same across the board. I understand frustrations the way we started the season. At the same time, I also understand what the players are doing, what the coaches are doing to try to make sure that we give the Pirates a chance to win each week. So I would say that I am as committed as I can be. The players and coaches are as committed as they can be, and we're going to work our tails off to get things going in the right direction. And we got a great challenge this coming weekend, and at the same time, every week is going to present a great challenge. So the focus just has to remain in the moment. Being 1-0 in the moment.
So that's not edited for any sensationalism. That's not edited for anything. I mean, I think that's a pretty classy and straightforward answer. And I think it's an answer that this is really much ado about nothing. You know, I think John's letter was a way to say, hey, fans, we're not accepting these results, but we're doing everything to get this turned around, and we will get it turned around. That's at the core of the message. That's what I thought it was. And so, you know, again, with the backdrop, and Mason should know that conversation that was reported was nothing. I mean, he's been around, I presume. So, I mean, he knows that was nothing. And then, but I think, you know, again, if you're not paying attention and you read that tweet, then you read that letter, and then you see where a reporter asked about it, you're thinking there's all kinds of, but trust me, I believe everybody is on the same sheet of music. They're all singing from the same hymnal. Doesn't mean it's rainbows and butterflies and kumbaya, because I think there's a lot of strain over there about what is going on, and nobody wants to reverse it and get it turned around any worse than Coach Houston, than his assistants, than his players, than John Gilbert, and anybody in that athletic department. So maybe it's all a big coincidence, but it's just crazy that you had this report, which was likely erroneous. Well, was erroneous. And again, I don't think it was intended to be. I think it was just somebody saw something. Maybe they weren't used to seeing it, so they reported on it in the heat of the moment. Versus the letter, which some people have interpreted as not so positive. And then this question, which led to this question, essentially. Always anonymous text line. You've stepped in it now. Keep going if the listeners want it. I guess. I mean, no, it's just maddening to me. The whole thing's maddening to me. That just the vitriol and the insanity. And when you read some of this stuff, Pilk, it's like, you just don't know. You don't have a clue. I mean, I've stayed above the fray and all this, but I got some clapback, and I couldn't help myself because I'm a wise guy at heart, Pilk. You know this.
Yeah.
I try to be better. I try to be good, but sometimes I just can't help but poke the posters. And you know, the guy was accusing me of being a softball question guy on that show. Well, that show's not this show.
Well, that's the coach's show. That's not a press conference. That's supposed to be.
It's not the Patrick Johnson show.
Yeah.
Where he's a guest on, and I would ask questions that I felt were germane in a respectful way. It's not a press conference where you're covering some scandalous breaking news. I've done that. It's not fun. I'm not even talking I've done it around here. I've done it in other places. It's not fun. And it's not the IGO show. I mean, it's the coach's show. It's a vehicle for the university. I had a guy in the bathroom jokingly say something to me, so I gave him a half-joking remark. And it essentially said, when you're paying my bills, I'll ask whatever you want.
Yeah, but I'm sure the people who are paying your bills in that sense would not want you asking any other questions than what you're not asking.
I don't think we don't dodge what – I mean, it's obvious. Yeah. But you give the person a chance to say their piece, and you move on, and all right, how are we going to do it? Here's your statement on what we're going to do. Now, how are we going to do it? Even in that setting, that's what we try to – at least I think I want to try to convey. This is what I hope to convey. And I want to give anybody who comes on anything an opportunity that I'm involved with to have their say. And I don't think there's anything to challenge him on right now, because you're not going to get an answer to things that people think are important, because the questions right now are not appropriate to ask in some settings. I don't think we're there at this point on some of the nutty things that they want. And I knew people were, well, people are fanatical, but I mean, this has gone 180. It's really, I don't know where a lot of this is coming from.
Yeah, I think people forget we're 3 games in, and one of them was against the number 2 team in the country. We're 3 games in. The stuff you're asking for is outrageous 3 games in.
Well, especially on the heels of building something up that was in dire straits.
Correct.
And this is part of the building. This isn't the same job it was 5 years ago for a lot of reasons. Not just that this thing was in shambles and disarray and Coach Houston has built it up. That's one thing. But now you're doing it with the backdrop of NIL. And that's a problem. And I can't preach that enough. If you're out there and you're one of the people that doesn't believe in NIL, you don't like NIL, so you're not going to give to the collective or participate in the NIL, you got to understand you're harming the program at this point. Whether it's Team Boneyard or whatever, if you could give to the NIL, what will happen will be you'll get the type of athletes potentially because you can offer them an NIL situation. It helps level the playing field. I mean, it is unreal what people who don't play in certain programs are playing. I'm not saying you got to compete with Michigan or Alabama or whoever, Georgia, but I mean, there's certain teams in this state that have taken NIL quite seriously. And if our teams lose to them, people are going to wonder why, and that would be one of the first answers. And then the portal's a disaster right now. That whole thing is a disaster. It's free agency when you combine it with NIL. That's tough stuff, especially at a place like East Carolina where you're having to already do a lot more with a lot less. So we could do a whole show on that. We probably will at some point. Do a whole week on that. Coach Logan will not be here on Friday, so we're back in our regular time slot of 5 o'clock. Coach's brother passed, so we're certainly giving our condolences and thoughts and prayers with the Logan family. But Coach will be back in a couple weeks, so that'll be good. It's family weekend at ECU. They've sold a lot of tickets. There'll be a big crowd there. And I know the Pirates are going to have their hands full with a really good team. Are we going to talk? We're going to talk some Panthers next. Demetri Ravanos, it's been a while since we've had him on. Dee's got a podcast that he and Lauren Brownlow are doing, and it's actually coming to Raycom's podcast platform. And they talk about Bryce Young. So we're going to, because Dee, Alabama grad and fan, I think Brownlow's a Panthers fan, so that's why they do it. We're going to talk to our pal Demetri Ravanos about that, talk to him about a little college football. We'll get to the Houston Huddle at the bottom of the hour from Talk of the Town this morning, and a lot more. So stay tuned here on the Patrick Johnson Show.
R&D Brewing is proud to partner with the ECU Pirates, and now you can enjoy Pirates Brew, the official craft beer of ECU Athletics. Pirates Brew is a carefully curated light beer that embodies the spirit of ECU, a refreshing and easy drinking light beer. Pirates Brew by R&D Brewing is available now at grocery stores, local retailers, and at ECU athletic events.
Head over to your favorite store and enjoy a nice Pirates Brew today, or else you'll walk the plank. Hand me another Pirates Brew.
Fifth Street Hardware is the home of the $9 lunch special Tuesday through Fridays. $9 specials every day, including the famous Burger Day on Tuesdays, Flatbread Pizza Wednesday, the famous Fifth Street Hardware Reuben on Thursday, and fried fish or shrimp on Friday. Plus trivia on Wednesday nights and live music every Thursday nights. And the Prime Rib Brunch Buffet has returned on Sundays. You heard that right. The Brunch Buffet with all the great items, including prime rib. Fifth Street Hardware in downtown Greenville.
Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern Living's best small town.
Just because voice-over IP telephones are the latest technology in the telephone world doesn't mean they're the right choice for you and your business. Whether your internet provider is unable to support a voice-over IP phone system, or you don't have a need for high-tech features and simply want to stick with a traditional system, Spain Telecom is here to help. Spain Telecom offers a variety of services to keep your business connected and competitive. We're confident we can find the right phone system for you and your business, a system that addresses all your communication needs. Looking for a new phone system that won't break the bank? In addition to new systems, Spain Telecom also offers gently used systems that are in great shape and can save you money. No matter your needs, Spain Telecom has a solution for you. Whether it's voice over IP, on-premise systems, new or used, give us a call at 252-353-2006 and let Spain Telecom help you with your communications needs.
Noticed he's in his own little happy hour? We're back to the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
This is the Happy Hour program.
Here's the P-Man.
All right, been a bit since we talked to Demetri Ravanos, my great friends. And he joins us now from his studio. D, how are you, buddy?
Patrick Johnson looking more and more like Steven Seagal every day, my man. You look great. It's been a long time since we've seen each other. You look like a decade younger.
Is that right?
You do. You look beautiful. I hope your wife is treating you well.
Clean living and perseverance, Demetri. That's what it is.
Every time. Every time.
You know, that's what it is. The Young Gun, a podcast about Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers, is available now at YouTube or wherever you download your favorite podcast. And I understand it is coming this week, Wednesday. Well, originally it's on Tuesday nights, but it's coming this week, Wednesday, because the Panthers allegedly played last night. Samsung TV Plus, Roku, Amazon, Freevee, and more, and Raycom, right? Tell me about the Raycom part of this.
Yeah, so Raycom owns Origin Sports. I got to tell you, we had not even recorded an episode when they came to us and said, we like this idea, we hear this is what you are doing. Origin plays a lot of old games, a lot of documentaries, and it is all sort of built around the idea of talking about legends as they got there, right? Raycom owns the entire library of the ACC, so I'm guessing they air a lot of Michael Jordan documentaries. And they said, "Look, this is a cool idea." They own the SEC
too, don't they? They own a lot of the SEC stuff too, don't they?
Well, what we have found is, for our purposes, they don't own the right SEC. Like, we can watch a whole lot of 1989 LSU at Mississippi State, but no Bryce Young highlights, unfortunately. But yeah, no, they said they really like the idea of watching this happen in real time, which is what the show is all about.
What is so it's about Bryce Young. You are a fan of Bryce Young because he went to the University of Alabama. Brownlow is a long-suffering Panthers fan. So the marriage of you two who have worked together before comes together in this weekly chronicle of how Bryce Young looks like Arnold Drummond out there and can't do a damn thing based on last night.
You know, I made this point on the podcast that went up today. I certainly understand the people's frustration overall. And I understand how, if you were sold that this is a franchise quarterback, how you would get disappointed with what you've seen so far. But if you take away the 5 passes that he threw away to avoid sacks last night, he was 22 of 28. The problem is not your quarterback. The problem is the playbook, and the playbook is designed around a bunch of dudes, Patrick, that just can't get open. Like, how on earth are the Panthers supposed to succeed? How is Bryce supposed to succeed? Hell, how is Frank Reich supposed to succeed with this roster? I mean, the guy that I've been told the Panthers view as their over-the-top, game-breaker threat is DJ Chark. Bryce threw to him 3 times last night. Bryce is not dumb. That tells me DJ Chark is not breaking any coverage at all in these games.
Right. Well, I also think they have told him not to run. No matter what you do, don't run. Because I think they're worried that he could get hurt because he is slight.
He is small, right? And that is something that we start the podcast every week asking the question is based on what you saw this week, is Bryce too short? That is how we open the podcast each and every week. I sort of have been making this point to people that are just sort of starting to really understand Bryce Young now that he's the Panthers quarterback. He had this problem at Alabama, which is Patrick, we have all dealt with someone like this, right? You don't have to tell them they are smart. They are so confident in their ability to read a situation, read a room, whatever. I think Bryce knows his football intelligence, and he is so confident that the play is going to be there that by the time he realizes he has to run, whatever window he had is closed. I think that what I've seen through the first two games is he is recognizing he cannot wait that long anymore. I think you're right. The Panthers would prefer he not run. But in the third quarter last night, when they needed desperately a first down, they got it with Bryce Young breaking off a 17-yard scramble. I mean, you cannot – he's not the fastest guy in the world, right? He's not like Michael Vick speed, but he's got enough speed to make plays.
You know, the other part of this is, Demetri, they have no receivers, but they're injured along the offensive line again, and they can't run the football. Like, there was no run game to speak of last night against the Saints, who are not exactly the Iron Curtain when you talk about defense.
Yeah, well, up front for sure. Like the Saints in the passing game believe they are one of the better defenses in the league.
Okay.
They've got the talent back there, but it's only back there, right? Outside of Cam Jordan, like what do they really have that makes you go, ooh, the Saints in the front seven? I'm with you completely. Patrick and I could see each other for people listening on radio, and he saw my very happy face when I said that. I think that, look, Miles Sanders was a big part of Jalen Hurts becoming the Jalen Hurts we saw last year with the Eagles. I think that might have been one of the things that attracted the Panthers to him or attracted him to the Panthers, whichever one. It made the Panthers want him. Chuba Hubbard at times has looked like he is capable of being the Chuba Hubbard we saw at Oklahoma State. And then at times he looks like last night where he seems to think his job is to run immediately into the back of the center. And there is no, there is no room for him right there. I think that, I think this is what I've seen. This is what is very interesting to me as an Alabama fan. I have not seen Bryce as frustrated before as he was at the end of the Atlanta game. I thought he held it together a little bit more at the end of last night's game. However, I think that it is getting to him that, A, he is not good enough to just put it all on his shoulders the way he was at Alabama, and B, there's no bailout for him. Like, I'm with you, Patrick. The lack of a sustained running game, and it's not just about injuries on the offensive line. Like, thank God Ike Ekwonu finally decided to show up last night on a run block, because that's been part of the problem too.
Demetri Ravanos is with us, the Young Gun podcast, wherever you download your podcast. I'm trying to find the sheet that you sent me here. And for some reason, I'm buried under a bunch of text people complaining about our opening segment. Of course, Demetri went to Alabama, media writer, host of the college football bubble bath, which I'm going to ask you about in just a minute.
Please do.
And, of course, Brownlow, Panthers fan, but also has reported on the ACC for a number of years. They're tracking the new era, not error, but era in Panthers history with the spotlight on the franchise quarterback. So, I think this wouldn't be that bad if he were taken with the 15th pick in the first round. But the fact that the Panthers moved up, he was taken number 1 overall, and I know it's just 2 games, but it just seems like right now it's not working out terribly well.
So I will answer that in 2 ways. First of all, if you're taken with the first pick, chances are you are going to a bad team, right? And the Panthers are a bad team, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. The other thing I will say, and I've made this point a couple of times on the podcast, I don't think it is hard to connect what Dave Tepper did when he had the first pick of the draft to what it is that the Jacksonville Jaguars did when they realized, oh, maybe we should take having the best quarterback prospect in forever seriously and hire, a guy like Doug Peterson, right, to come in and replace Urban Meyer. Well, Frank Reich is in that mold, but he ain't Doug Peterson. And I think that is one of the things that Carolina fans have to accept. I think this is going to be a new era. We are 8 quarters into the guy's career. I think the fact that you have people like Peyton Manning say this is the guy that football intelligence-wise is most like me to ever come out of college since I retired from the NFL, I think that means something. I really do. I think that he has shown you over and over again that he knows how to play the game at his height. It's never going to shut up the people that believe he is going to get broken on every single play. I totally understand that. I think that not only has it only been 8 games, but go look at any great player, right? Imagine if we had said after his first, not 8 quarters, sorry, I said 8 games, not after his first 8 quarters, his first season and a half in the league. Imagine if the Bills had said, well, Josh Allen will never be anything. I mean, like, don't you think they're glad they were patient? Don't you think the Colts were glad that after going 1-15 and throwing 4 interceptions in his first game, they said, oh, let's give this Peyton kid another chance? Like, it can totally be turned around, but there does have to be talent around you.
Right. Absolutely. All right. So the podcast dropping tomorrow. This week, it'll drop tomorrow, usually on Tuesday nights. The podcast, Young Gun, a podcast about Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers with the affable Demetri Ravanos and Lauren Brownlow. And it is coming to Samsung TV Plus, Roku, Amazon, Freevee, and more. Origin Sports is where it will drop most Tuesdays, and they are owned by Raycom. So some of that old Raycom money is behind this. I declare, the old Raycom money is
Me and Jefferson Pilot Sports.
All right, so you've got something that I think is hilarious and amusing and entertaining, the college football bubble bath. A little scary, but you draw a bath. A bath. Are there incense? A little wine? Is there like candles? Is there aroma during this?
No, you know what? That might be the next thing to be added. There is a rubber ducky, because I am a child of Sesame Street. But yeah, we sit in the bathtub and we talk about college football. Everything from, Alabama's quarterback problems to Coach Prime to why Sam Hartman's going to win the Heisman. Like, as you know, Patrick, you and I have been friends for a long time. I consume college football the way our Native American brothers and sisters use the buffalo. All pieces matter.
Right.
And, I just think that I have the luxury of having this nice big bathtub, and Bubble Bath is always on sale at Amazon. So why not do it at a place where it's much more comfortable?
Yeah. And you're talking college football. It's just doing it in a comfortable setting.
Talking college football, I had someone on TikTok comment on the videos that it's something to the effect of, I think this guy just wants us to see his chest and tattoos. Which, I'm not denying that is part of the motivation. I have fine tattoos all up and down my arms. But look, I think that the people deserve a show, and that's what I'm giving them, Patrick.
Let me ask, is this Saban's last year?
Ooh, you know what, Patrick? You're the only person to flat out ask me. If I had to put money on it, I would say yes. And I'm not just saying that because of the way things are going on the field. I think there are a lot of signs that it's his last year. I think that a guy that has been so maniacal about being within a car's drive of Tuscaloosa at all times, buying a beach home in South Florida I think it's telling you something. I think the fact that he is doing Thursdays every week with Pat McAfee on ESPN, I think it's telling you something. I think that now this is maybe reading too much into it, right? And I totally think that at this point I'm looking for dots to connect. But I think that, did you see Coach Prime's interview on 60 Minutes on Sunday?
I did. I thought it was great, yes.
Yeah, it was wonderful. So when they ask him who's the best coach in college football, and he says, oh, give me a mirror so I can look at him, and then goes out of his way to praise Nick Saban, I don't know that it means that Prime is like, Saban's going to retire and Prime's going to take over. That's not what it is at all. I just think he knows something. I think that Nick Saban has told a select group of people that the time is coming to an end. I've been told by friends down there that are in the beat writing game or on the radio every day down in that part of the country that he is very aware of the fact that Bobby Bowden waited too long, and that the thing he does not want to do is keep waiting to go out on a championship that he ends up being celebrated in the Gator Bowl, like Bobby Bowden was, right? So I think this is a new...
Or like the other legendary Alabama, Bear Bryant, he's in the Liberty Bowl in 30-degree weather. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that it is I think that it's very possible that if they are in, like, forget the playoff, if they're in the Peach Bowl, if they're in the Cotton Bowl, maybe even if they're in the Citrus Bowl, like, I think he would say, okay, that's probably as good as it's going to get. I know that there is a lot of belief down there that Julian Sayin, who is the number 2 recruit in this class, is going to come in and he's going to be the answer. But for that to be real, I think you would have to believe that Saban is coaching to like 75 or 76, and I just don't believe that.
So you think he would go ahead and get out and be done with it?
Yeah, I think so. I think one thing that I have heard from down there is that he is starting to recognize that, and take this to mean whatever you want, that the negative recruiting is working. Whether that means that kids don't want to play for a guy they don't know if he's going to retire, or that there is some level of demand that is unreasonable, and that's part of the like. There's no reason that Alabama should have to get to its 3rd choice for an offensive coordinator, and Jesus, there's no reason they should ever hire Tommy Rees. But here we are.
Demetri, see this. You'll hear this from the Bubble Bath, and see how much more interesting it would be. So, where's the Bubble Bath podcast? The college football Bubble Bath. Where can people get?
So I put it everywhere I am on social media: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. Yeah, you know what? We'll put it there for Facebook for the racist uncles. Like it's everywhere I am on social media. You can find
it. All right, great to talk to you.
Patrick, I want you to know I do. First of all, I appreciate you giving me time on your show. Second of all, the appeal of coming on your show with you, in addition to loving you dearly, is watching you laugh so hard you start to turn the color of ECU's helmets.
Well, you're going to crack me at some point, and you have here a couple times, so that's always good. All right, Demetri, thanks. Great to talk to you, and good luck with everything. This is all very exciting.
Yes, thank you, PJ. I appreciate you having me on today. And Phil Pilkington, thank you, sir, for making this all happen.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Philip
Not enough people recognize the producer. All right, goodbye, boys.
No, they don't. See you, Demetri. Thank you. Demetri Ravanos, a hoot and a holler. All right, speaking of Pilk, update time with Philip the Rep Pilkington, and then our Houston Huddle when we rejoin you on the other side of the timeout. But first, here's the ref.
Thanks, Patrick, and thanks, Demetri. Last night, the Carolina Panthers fell to 0-2 with a loss to the New Orleans Saints. They also lost star linebacker Shaq Thompson, who broke his leg during the game. He had surgery earlier today and will likely be out for the remainder of the 2023 season. Here's what Coach Wright said after the game following the loss.
Tough loss. We just got to own every bit of it. We got to learn from it and got to get better. Obviously, I thought the defense really played well, kept us in the game for a long time.
There was another Monday Night Football game, and some teams lost some key pieces in that one as well, as the Steelers defeated the Browns. The Browns lost star running back Nick Chubb, who suffered a season-ending knee injury in that contest. The Steelers also had a key injury in the game, as safety Mika Fitzpatrick suffered a chest injury early in the third quarter, which caused him to miss the remainder of the second half. He was later sent to the hospital, and after some scans came back negative, he was released earlier this morning. And according to NFL Network's Tom Pelissero, the team is very optimistic that the 26-year-old will return to the field this coming week against Las Vegas. That'll do it for your 94.3 The Game Sports Flash update. On the other side of this timeout, we will talk to the head coach of the Pirates, Mike Houston.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport. Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern Living's best small town.
Just because voice over IP telephones are the latest technology in the telephone world doesn't mean they're the right choice for you and your business. Whether your internet provider is unable to support a voice over IP phone system, or you don't have a need for high-tech features and simply want to stick with a traditional system, Spain Telecom is here to help. Spain Telecom offers a variety of services to keep your business connected and competitive. We're confident we can find the right phone system for you and your business, a system that addresses all your communication needs. Looking for a new phone system that won't break the bank? In addition to new systems, Spain Telecom also offers gently used systems that are in great shape and can save you money. No matter your needs, Spain Telecom has a solution for you. Whether it's voice over IP, on-premise systems, new or used, give us a call at 252-353-2006 and let Spain Telecom help you with your communications needs.
Pizza? Ooh.
Yes. All pineapple.
No.
What's wrong with pineapple on pizza?
I only eat pizza with pizza things.
That makes sense. Pineapple is a pizza thing.
Also makes sense.
Is it though?
This tastes great.
That we agree on.
Let's agree to agree. Pepsi Zero Sugar tastes great.
Can't you just pick off the pineapple?
We are riding shotgun with you on the drive home.
It's showtime.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Time now for the Houston Huddle. And it's brought to you by HealthWise Pharmacy. HealthWise is a full-service pharmacy serving all of your healthcare needs, including retail prescription medications, durable medical equipment, in-home infusions, as well as infusions in their infusion suite, which is located at 615B South Memorial Drive in Greenville. HealthWise Pharmacy. Pilk, what was the first question that Henry asked?
I think
today?
Coach just said, how's it going? And Houston just kind of went with it.
All right. Coach, how are you?
Well, I mean, nobody is pleased with where we are. And, all of us, want things to be in a better situation. But, All
right, hold on. We'll start it over again because that was not what it came in on. So
Okay.
Henry asked about the tough start, and Coach Houston responded, and here's the interview from this morning's Talk of the Town. Houston up.
Well, I mean, nobody is pleased with where we are. And, all of us, want things to be in a better situation. But, the players are working very hard, and they're very dedicated. The coaches are working very hard, and they're very dedicated. And, it was a great setting on Saturday, in-state rivalry. I think that's really going to become, what this game is. It's two passionate fan bases, and I thought our kids came out and played really, really hard, and it was a great first half. I wish we could have, not given up the touchdown right before the half and taken an 11-point lead into the locker room. But we did, and but I just I thought the kids just played with a lot of intensity and a lot of effort there in the first half.
And two defensive touchdowns, which helped a lot. The defense had great moments as well on Saturday, and then there were some.
Right.
They gave up some long runs as well, which that App State's got that little running back who I believe is leading the nation right now. So he's no slouch, but kind of give us a sense of what the week has been like so far in dealing with the kids.
Well, I mean, the kids are great. I mean, they're frustrated just like I am, and all of us are. That we haven't been able to get the win the last 2 weeks, and but they're very motivated too. and very determined. And so, we had a good workout on Sunday. Had real good film work. The kids were around the facility yesterday, and everybody's hungry to get things going in the right direction. And so that's what I see from them. And they're all together and working very hard.
Coach Mike Houston joins us here for our Houston Huddle. Coach, you got Alex Flynn starting this past week. He had the better week of practice, and there was some good, and I'm sure there were some things that need to be corrected. And it's still going to be a case where both quarterbacks are going to have every opportunity.
Well, absolutely. I mean, everybody on this roster, has the opportunity every week to go out and compete. And, things don't happen overnight. You don't just go from, playing to not playing or not playing to playing because of one day. It's a culmination of your full body of work. Alex has played really well all the way back to the spring and really had a solid week of practice last week. I thought he came out and, the first drive was a great drive to open the ball game. And I thought he played really well for the bulk of the first half. Now, you look at things you got to improve on. We can't turn the ball over. The turnovers were costly and came at tough times, and so there's lots of room for improvement. But I thought he did a lot of really good things also.
Coach, Taylor Jackson, one of the young players too that took advantage of an opportunity. His pick six looked simple, but it was a real thing of beauty.
What you mean, Antoine? Antoine Jackson. Yeah, Antoine Jackson. Taylor's our inside linebacker, but Antoine's he's a freshman, and again, he had a really good week of practice, the Marshall week, and he didn't get to play against Marshall, was a little frustrated, but you continue to encourage those freshmen that it's got to be consistency over time. He came back out and had a great week of practice last week. So I talked to him a couple of weeks ago because of the way he was trending, just about, if we put you out there and you can't play like a 17-year-old freshman. And it's hard because he's a 17-year-old freshman. And, he's having to learn to navigate college life and football and everything else. But I thought he played really well on Saturday. That play is just one example. It was a really good call by Coach Harrell and put him in that situation to make that play. But there's lots of guys that have been put in that situation to make that play that don't make the play. And the moment was not too big for him, and he made a great break on the ball and able to get in the end zone and give us the lead.
Coach, so much has been said about your offensive line, and, I want you to kind of, for folks who don't know, talk about how you've had to rebuild this offensive line. For folks who don't know, I mean, I think you've got one starter back. Is that right, on the offensive line? Two of the guys that were starters on our offensive line are playing at other Power 5 schools, Auburn and Oregon right now. And this is a work in progress that's just going to take a little time for them to gel, right?
Well, we actually have 5 new players on our offensive line. The one returning starter we have from last year, Isaiah Foote, had off-season surgery and just has not come back from that. So
you don't have anybody on the offensive line that played last year.
No. Some of them played a little bit, but you got 5 new starters, and they're working very hard. I think they've shown improvement each week, and really pleased with some of the progress that's being made there. But obviously a lot of things we need to do better also. We've got to protect the quarterback better. We got to run block better and give our running backs room to run. But we have seen improvement. We've got to improve even more.
Well, and I know they will. I know that you guys are coaching them up hard. But, again, it does bring to mind kind of the impact of the transfer portal and NIL and all the stuff that's going on in college athletics right now. And we've talked about this with you before. We've benefited from that here at ECU, but it's also, it's caused some glaring problems for us this year, has it not?
Well, I think it's the reality of the new college football world, and we've got to continue to embrace it and evolve. and adapt in the way we build our roster each year. And I do think it is becoming more and more that you build your roster each off season, much like an NFL model. So it's what it is. So we've got to, right now we are where we are, and we've got to improve with the guys we got. And I really like our players. I like the players that we have, and they're working very hard, and they will improve.
We're talking Pirate football with Coach Mike Houston. Our exclusive interview with him every Tuesday. Our Houston Huddle Pirates will be playing during Family Weekend, 6 o'clock this Saturday at home against Gardner-Webb. This is a Gardner-Webb team with a lot of potency on offense. They're coming off a loss where they got beat on the road by a 50-yard field goal. But when you look at them offensively, Coach, they tend to remind you of what Josh Heupel is doing at Tennessee and what he did at UCF.
Well, it's a similar system. And, this team is a veteran team. They took Coastal Carolina, Marshall, and Liberty, all three, to the wire last year. I think they lost by 1 to Liberty. At Liberty, I think a similar outcome against Coastal. The Marshall game was very close. They had the lead at Appalachian in the opener this year, late in the third quarter. So it's a veteran football team, both sides of the football, with a lot of starters back. So they do run an up-tempo offense. They're going to snap it about every 10 seconds. They're going to spread you out horizontally, sideline to sideline. Their quarterback, Caldwell, has done a really good job running that offense so far this year. Gaither, the running back, I think he's third all-time on their all-time leading rushers list. I think he had like 150 or so last Saturday. Mm-hmm. So this is a really good football team, and it's a tremendous challenge for us this week. So we've got to continue to improve on our performance from this past week and be ready to go on Saturday.
And defensively, Coach, you were talking a lot about Ty French last night up front, their defensive end. They've got some big boys up front, don't they?
Well, I think, French and Jackson, Jackson's the nose guard, those two guys are really outstanding. All four defensive linemen are seniors. And I think that's where you got to start when looking at their defense. But very active linebackers, number 11, Brendan Jackson, great playmaker, and they're very athletic on the back end. So, like I said, this is an old football team that's played a lot of big ball games the last couple of years.
Coach, do you like the 6 o'clock kickoff, or would you prefer it to be earlier in the afternoon?
I don't get a say in kickoff times, so.
You don't care. Just go out and play when they schedule it.
Go out and play.
Gotcha.
Go out and play.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, we're with you, man. I know that this is not the start that you wanted, but everybody knew this was going to be a bit of a rebuilding year for you. And these chats on Tuesday morning aren't as much fun when we lose, but let's get a win this week and turn it around. I know that you guys are working hard to do that.
No doubt. That's the goal, and just appreciate you guys as always. But, the one thing I do want everybody to know is just how committed we are. And, we all care very much for East Carolina University and this football program, and everybody here is very motivated to get the Pirates in the right direction. So look forward to talking to you next week.
All right, there he is, Mike Houston. Interesting comments from today. Kind of said the same thing at the press conference today, and hopefully a lot of folks will be there rooting them on this weekend. All right, we got to go, and thanks to Demetri, Ravanos, Coach Houston. Thanks to Bill. We'll see you on tomorrow with Doug Martin, 5 o'clock.
Fifth Street Hardware is the home of the $9 lunch special Tuesday through Fridays. $9 specials every day, including the famous Burger Day on Tuesdays, Flatbread Pizza Wednesday, the famous Fifth Street Hardware Reuben on Thursday, and fried fish or shrimp on Friday. Plus trivia on Wednesday nights and live music every Thursday nights. And the Prime Rib Brunch Buffet has returned on Sundays. You heard that right. The Brunch Buffet with all the great items, including prime rib. Fifth Street Hardware in downtown Greenville.
tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
I'm a big mood. You can't name a lot of things that I didn't do. Stacking paper like a book, not a Kindle. You outdated, I'm the one they getting into, and I don't break a sweat. Let's get it. 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 Child, please, I don't need a child, please.
Are you game day ready? Anson Belt, the official belt of ECU Athletics.
Are you ready for a digital hair color revolution? The Color Master Factory by Chi and LG. A masterpiece of innovation, unlimited color formulations, limitless possibilities. Long-lasting color